CTV News with Ricardo Veneza.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. We are learning a new detail tonight from a mass shooting at a Minnesota church. Officials reporting 2 children dead, 17 others injured, 7 of those in critical condition. Here's NBC's Chris Pallone.
Another mass shooting in America, this time in Minneapolis.
Just before 8:30 a.m., our city experienced an unthinkable tragedy.
It happened at Annunciation Church as children from the adjoining Catholic school celebrated the start of a new year with a mass. Neighbors described hearing the unmistakable sound of gunfire.
So it was sporadic. It was a semi-automatic. It seemed like a rifle. It certainly didn't sound like a handgun.
Police say a gunman, early 20s, dressed in black, barricaded the church doors and opened fire.
Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building.
It was really scary.
10-year-old Weston Halsney says shots came through the window next to him.
Again, I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head. My friend saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
Several law enforcement sources have identified the shooter to NBC News as Robin Westman. Police say Westman was armed with a rifle, shotgun, and pistol. They say the suspect died by suicide at the scene. Sources say Westman had posted videos online that referenced suicide, extremely violent thoughts, an apology to their family, and contained a sketch of a church interior.
The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Investigators say the motive for the attack is still unclear. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
The slower streets of summer are almost in the rear view, with most students heading back to school in under a week. That's prompting calls for drivers to get back into the swing of staying alert in school zones. CTV's Chris Campbell reports.
A new survey by CAA South Central Ontario shows more than 80% of parents report school zone congestion at drop-off and pickup times, and unsafe driving is becoming a bigger concern, with 63% saying their child's school zone feels unsafe.
That's a high number, which means that that's translating into the different perceptions around safety while in school zones. So these are alarming numbers that we're hearing.
CAA's Lauren Fisher says too many schools lack safe drop-off areas, making traffic problems worse.
Some schools aren't equipped with the proper drop-off areas. But if that is the case, what we're asking parents to do is really park a block away and walk the extra kilometer or whatever is left, and just make sure that you get your kid to school safely.
Parents say they want stronger safety measures, including more speed cameras and lowering speed limits in school zones to 30 kilometers an hour.
What we're hearing from parents is that they're mainly in support of reducing the speed limits in the school zones. You know, they'd like to see these speed limits around 30 kilometers per hour. And this is really to allow for extra reaction time.
Here in Windsor, city officials are also reminding families to think about parking before the first day of school.
We want to get the children there safe, get them home safe, and, hopefully get some active ways to school. So that's the best way. Go out, look, see, hey, you know what? Junior can ride his bike from home to here. Here's the path he's going to take.
The city's coordinator of parking services, Bill Kravolensky, says the city will start with education, but drivers who don't follow the rules could face penalties.
First of all, we're going to try and educate people this is where you should go, to some of our more frequent schools. And then after that, if the candy doesn't work, then we got to go back to the stick and start issuing some tickets.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Now, slowing down for school zones is one thing, but getting there may be another challenge. Parents are being warned to plan ahead with the potential for school bus service disruptions in September. First Student Canada, which operates some local bus routes, could see drivers walk off the job as contract talks continue. Student Transportation Services says it's hopeful an agreement will be reached before classes are impacted, but families are encouraged to check their assigned operator on buskids.ca and start planning just in case. And it's not just about the roads and buses. Experts say back-to-school prep should include plans for student mental health. This year, a pilot program in our region is expanding into more high schools over the next 2 years. CTV's Sanjay Maru shows us how it's helping students open up and why the need is growing.
Heading into his first day of high school next week, this student says there's still a long way to go before the stigma behind mental health is broken. He says a lot of peers don't talk about their struggles, and those who do are often ridiculed.
That's why lots of problems arise. So some people just keep it to themselves and suffer in silence.
To change that, a youth mobile clinic that piloted at Brennan in the previous school year is now expanding to Assumption and Cardinal Carter. The goal is simple: bring qualified professionals directly to students in the same place they already spend their day.
We're working with youth struggling with a host of different issues: depression, anxiety, peer relationships, complex family dynamics at home, housing, food disparity. The limit does not exist when it comes to what we're talking to youth about.
For 3 weeks last spring, Julia Valeriani and her team worked out of Brennan. She says the concerns students brought forward are more complicated than they used to be, with social media amplifying many of them.
Kids are seeing so much more and now worrying about a lot more.
We saw students without a lot of promotion or outreach walking into this clinic. I think we were averaging in the early weeks 5 students a day, which might not sound like a lot, but without promoting, that was pretty significant.
The head of the local Canadian Mental Health Association says Brennan, Assumption, and Cardinal Carter were chosen based on data showing where the need was greatest. Those on the front lines of the program say it's about building connections so students feel comfortable turning to teachers and others too.
Can I help to connect you to other people? Because you shouldn't just be in a silo. I would love to say that, yes, we might be your only trusted adult, but that's doing a disservice to that child. And so now how can we help that team to feel comfortable talking to other people that they're around all the time and every day?
And as another school year begins, some heading into their next academic chapter say they know the pressures will extend well beyond the classroom.
You have to juggle school, you have to juggle relationships, extracurriculars, social media. So it's a lot of things that can go wrong. People bullying other people and talking about them badly on social media. Gossip spreads way quicker than it used to now, right?
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
And youth unemployment appears to be worse than we thought. According to a new report, it's at recessionary levels. Not good, and means those between the ages of 15 and 24 are having a really tough time finding a job.
Printing off their resumes inside this Youth Employment Services Center, teenage siblings Crystal and Avesh Mohavir, who recently moved from Guyana to Canada, are preparing to enter a scarce job market.
It's very difficult to find a job when you're new.
What type of job are you hoping to find?
Plumbing and real estate,
You're open to any and all opportunities.
Yeah.
That positive attitude may be a prerequisite for any young Canadian searching for work. CIBC Capital Markets has shared that unemployment for those aged 15 to 24 has increased by more than 5.5% since 2022. The average uptick in youth unemployment during a recession typically has been around 4%.
It is unusual to see this level of youth unemployment when the economy is not in an outright recession.
CIBC economists believe artificial intelligence is in part to blame.
It's taking out some routine jobs that entry-level workers did. And part of it is other technologies, fewer jobs for young people working in a store, manning the checkout counter.
Earlier this month, Statistics Canada announced that youth unemployment in July rose to 14.6%, the highest rate since 2010. Those working inside employment centres like this one believe a decline in retail positions has led to fewer jobs, and U.S. tariffs have resulted in small businesses putting a freeze on new hires.
We are seeing about a 20% increase in youth coming in to see us. They have, in some cases, sent in hundreds and hundreds of resumes, not getting any callbacks.
Leaving some to wonder how deep the unemployment hole could get for youth should Canada actually tumble into a recession in the near future. For young Canadians searching for a career path, those who work here at this employment center say they're currently seeing openings in cybersecurity, cloud computing, and the trades. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News.
Wheatley residents are in the process of dropping their class action lawsuit against the municipality of Chatham-Kent. Michelle Molesky with more on the ongoing fallout of the town's 2021 explosion.
On August 26, 2021, hydrogen sulfide from an underground well exploded at Erie and Talbot in Wheatley. 20 people were hurt, dozens of buildings were heavily damaged. Now, as we've reported, a year later, a $100 million class action lawsuit was launched by a Windsor law firm against the municipality of Chatham-Kent and HSE Integrated Limited, a safety equipment company based in Hamilton. This March, the municipality confirmed the province helped them pay 54 business applicants a total of $7.2 million in compensation, plus another $1.4 million was given to displaced or impacted residents. As a result, the law firm told the court a class action may no longer be viable. Now, we learned late today, lawyers must now ask the court to allow the class action to be discontinued. That hasn't happened yet. Now, the court also allows the municipality and HSE to countersue the residents and business owners for their legal fees. Specifically, Chatham-Kent paid a $250,000 deductible the minute the class action was launched. Today, the municipality confirmed they are asking their insurer to not countersue the residents or business owners of Wheatley for legal expenses to date. Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
The municipality of Lakeshore is moving forward with initiatives that have secured $7 million under Ottawa's Housing Accelerator Fund, and that includes a commitment to 4-unit by-right zoning without any of the pushback seen in neighboring communities. CTV's Ricardo Vanessa reports.
The municipality of Lakeshore has received its first of 4 payments under Ottawa's Housing Accelerator Fund meant to fast-track new home builds.
That's really been transformational for Lakeshore.
$7 million under the program was announced in March, meant to help build 898 new units. And they did it without 4-unit by-right zoning becoming the flashpoint it was for its neighbors.
Well, I mean, remember, for provincially, triplexes are already allowed. We don't have a proliferation of triplexes in Lakeshore. So it doesn't mean there's going to be a 4-plex on every corner. It doesn't mean there's going to be high-rises on every corner. It's gentle densification in a way that works for Lakeshore.
Lakeshore CAO Tyson Craig says council is committed to the zoning change and credits the town's Horizons initiative meant to modernize planning and development for engaging with residents and walking them through potential changes. The zoning issue was a divisive one for councils in Windsor and Tecumseh as a condition of half support. Windsor's failure to relax its zoning meant losing out on roughly $30 million.
This is wrong, and it's not what the residents are telling me they want to see.
While Tecumseh has put at risk 3/4 of its $4.4 million approved under the program after it flip-flopped on the change.
We have come at this with the perspective that information is good, conversation is good.
The University of Windsor's Centre for Cities has partnered with the town to drive housing and development change in the fast-growing municipality. Director Annika Smith says residents raised concerns about maintaining small-town feel, preserving farmland, and keeping property taxes in check. Something she says means moving away from suburban sprawl.
4-plexes actually integrate incredibly well into existing neighborhoods and are already there, and it's a question of making sure that the design is good, that there is some forethought given to how they fit into the neighborhood.
Lakeshore has a suite of other measures under its half agreement, including a new CIP, affordable housing strategy, and a pattern book meant to speed up construction approvals. But Craig says getting back to basics is the key to Lakeshore's approach.
Main streets that were developed 100 years ago had commercial on the bottom and had apartments up top, let's say. So we're really looking at getting back to some more traditional methods of planning.
Ricardo Vanessa, CTV News, Lakeshore.
Meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. And still ahead, bald is beautiful in Chicago, where smooth scalps took center stage. Gary joins us now for an extended look at the weather, which does have rain in the forecast.
You're right about that. Tomorrow afternoon, I would say very near the noon hour, we could see some showers, and maybe a bit later, closer to about 1, 2 o'clock, some embedded light thunderstorm activity. Today was a beautiful day, and we were looking at temperatures slightly below seasonal, both in terms of the highs and lows. The lows in particular have been several degrees below average, and we're still in this cooler air mass that's been reinforced by the winds out of the northwest, so it feels coolish because the winds are made up of a cooler projectional wind field out of the northwest, sustained at around 15 kilometers per hour, and that's going to give the push. The showers that we see wrapping around this area of low pressure well to our north. So counterclockwise rotation around that area of low pressure drives northwesterlies right across upper Michigan into southwestern Ontario. And the eastern shores of Lake Huron further inland from that point will likely see the worst of it. The rainfall tallies aren't too impressive, but embedded thunderstorms always, or at least are more likely to pack a more intense punch. I think the heaviest bands will lie along the shores of, Georgian Bay, certainly cottage country. Right now, the anticipation is a light to light moderate event. Before we get there, the overnight temperatures dip to 11 or 12 degrees across extreme southwestern Ontario at around 5 a.m. And then as we approach the noon hour, of course, we'll see increasing cloudiness and the rain showers to begin the early stretch of the afternoon. That's the breakdown for your Thursday, as you see here. And note, the temperatures are leveling off, low 20s for the next couple of days. I think we'll be close to about 19 or 20 degrees for Friday, rather. Here's the 7-day outlook. And of course, we are looking at a long weekend. The holiday is Monday, Labor Day. Temperatures rebounding after cloudiness Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with showers most likely for Thursday afternoon. We'll reach highs in the low 20s, 23 on Saturday, a sunny Sunday at 23, and then mid to upper 20s Monday through Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Keep the umbrellas nearby if you have plans to be outdoors in the afternoon tomorrow, especially near the noon hour and beyond.
Higher costs could soon be on the way for many Canadian small businesses. Starting Friday, an American exclusion for shipping fees will come to an end. With more on the expected impact, here's Rachel Aiello.
So we'll do a CUSMA form for these.
The United States is scrapping its tariff exemption on parcels worth $800 or less. It means starting Friday, all of those U.S.-bound shipments will be hit with duties.
It would have an immediate impact. The antique parts of our business are a substantial part of what we do. We've seen that business growing over the years, especially down into the U.S.
Many small shop owners like David Pelkey are facing a tough choice. Absorb or pass on the cost, cut off a key market, or go through the complex process of becoming CUSMA compliant.
This is going to have implications for a lot of Canadian businesses, and it's coming at a time where you don't necessarily have a lot of resilience in the small business sector.
But U.S. President Donald Trump dumping de minimis is also set to cost American consumers and could result in big headaches for border agents.
It was there for a reason.
Millions of duty-free packages enter the U.S. daily. But with this change looming, postal operators in at least 25 countries are suspending U.S. shipping, citing the lack of clarity around enforcement. Canada Post is not one of them. Instead, they'll be using a third-party program to collect and send the duties directly to U.S. Customs. The Crown Corporation said the duty will be equal to the tariff rate of a product's country of origin. For Canada, the current rate is 35% for most goods. A key caveat to take note of, Canada Post flagged to us today that documents and gifts valued under $100 US sent from Canadians, not businesses, will be exempt. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
New data shows Canadian snowbirds may not be in much of a hurry to get back south this winter. A survey from Royal LePage found 54% of respondents who own a home in the U.S. are considering selling it within the next year. More than 60% said that's because of the political climate. Nearly a third said they'll buy Canadian instead, reinvesting in the domestic real estate market. Strength in the financial sector helped Canada's main stock index finish higher today. In Toronto, the TSX gained 93 points. In New York, the Dow added 147. The Nasdaq is up 46. The Canadian dollar gained 0.08 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold is up $15.60 an ounce and oil added 90 cents a barrel. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. It's been a long journey home for one New Zealand man. Jonathan Hooker was taken from his family in northern Manitoba in the 70s during the 60s scoop. Today, he made his long-time return home to Manitoba, where he reunited with his birth mother. CTV's Alex Karpa has that story.
It's an emotional homecoming for Jonathan Hooker, 1 decade in the making. For the first time in 50 years, Hooker has returned home to Manitoba to reconnect with his Indigenous heritage and family.
It's the first time I've actually laid eyes on my mother, so yep. It's been a journey, all right. It's all a bit overwhelming to be here today, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hooker was taken from his community of Moose Lake in 1975 during a government operation known infamously as the 60s Scoop. At just 18 months old, he was adopted by a family in Manitoba who then moved to New Zealand.
Through my adopted parents, they were always pretty open about things. I always knew that I was adopted. I guess up until a couple of years ago, I didn't really fully understand how it all played out.
Hooker's biological mother, Patsy George, has dreamt of this reunion since the moment her son was taken away.
I thought I would never see him again. He was only 2 months old when they took him away from me. And my other daughter, a month old.
An estimated 30,000 Indigenous children were taken from their homes between 1951 and 1991, many of them placed into non-Indigenous homes across Canada and around the world.
This is a moment to celebrate that there is hope for a lot of people all over the world that are searching for their families, and this is one of those examples.
Hooker hopes his story can help others who are in his situation.
So hopefully somebody else, again, will see this and hopefully maybe start looking for their family, or it'll give them some clues to reach out and help.
Hooker will be staying here in Manitoba for 3 weeks and will return to his home community of Moose Lake First Nation at the beginning of September. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has wrapped up his European tour, sending a message of gratitude this morning to Canadian soldiers stationed in Latvia. With more on his final day overseas, here's Abigail Beeman.
Inside a field ambulance, up close with tanks, Prime Minister Mark Carney talked to dozens of Canadian troops to learn what they do, and he heard what they need.
You see how important, for lack of a better term, drones are in the Ukraine fight. We are watching, studying, understanding how that fight is there, but we need those pieces of equipment here in Latvia.
Drone operator Wayne Fraser says modernization would help too, right down to his tactical vest.
It is a little outdated. There's no modular capability with it, which can be a little bit impeding.
We're also, back home, creating a new defense procurement agency so we can build at pace. So the women and men of the armed forces have cutting-edge military equipment that they need and deserve.
About 200 kilometers from the Russian border, the Prime Minister announced a 3-year extension of Operation Reassurance, saying, unfortunately, the need for the Canadian-led NATO mission here has only intensified. Carney didn't take questions. His defense minister pushed on whether Canadian troops in Ukraine was a possibility, regardless of a ceasefire.
These conversations are continuing. Obviously, the United States has an important role to play. So we'll see.
Latvia was the last stop on a 4-country European tour for the Prime Minister, who told Canadian troops here in Latvia what he told Ukrainians in Kyiv, that the strategy for Russia needs to be deter and fortify. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Camp Adige, Latvia.
The
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Heads up for the follically challenged. Bald is beautiful in Chicago, where smooth scalps took center stage. There were plenty of ways to rock a bald head. That was clear in Chicago on Sunday at the first ever Bald Off competition. Dozens lined up for a shot at the baddest baldy title. Even a hairless cat got in on the action. But it was a Mr. Clean lookalike who wiped the floor and walked away with the prize. No word yet if it'll become an annual tradition, but judging by the crowd, the future looks shiny. Gary joining us again now. Gary, this is something you can relate to.
Oh, I think so, yes, obviously. And if I do say so myself, I think with an unoffensive shape to my cranium, I could fit in quite well with that gathering. I think what fits in nicely for the long weekend is a return to some sunshine by at least Sunday and holiday Monday, with temperatures between 23 and 25 degrees. Before we get there, of course, we have to deal with some rain showers. Much needed rains, by the way. It has been drought-like across the region, technically speaking, for the last 4.5 weeks. We'll see maybe even some thunderstorm activity around 1, 2, or 3 p.m. across the region in the southwest of the province. Friday into Saturday, still cloudy with a slight chance of showers. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 23 to 27 degrees is the range for the daily maximum or high temperature, with mid-teens for the lows, and that would be seasonal for this time of the year. Wherever you are, have a good night's rest and enjoy your weather.
The Toronto Zoo has chosen names for what it's calling its mooest residents. The zoo welcomed 2 Highland cows earlier this month to join its outreach and discovery team. And officials say they're already captured the hearts of visitors, staff, and volunteers. And now that they've settled in, the Highland cows have officially been named Blue and Jay. The brothers are 9 months old. Highland cows were originally bred in Scotland and are one of the oldest cattle breeds in the world. They are known for their long horns, shaggy coats, and gentle natures. That's your news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. See you right back here tomorrow.